Hi, my name is Sabrina Helm, and I'm going to show you how to make a content calendar. So, I'm a digital and political consultant. So, I work with candidates, nonprofits, democratic organizations, and politicians on things that they need either digitally or politically. So, today I'm going to show you the content calendar, which is how I plan out social media posts, emails, website updates, things like that, to make sure that the message that my client needs goes out to their base. So today I'm going to show you how to do it, or how I do it, in Airtable, which is a free program. There is a paid version. I personally use the free program and it does everything I need. And if you don't want to do it this way, you can also use a spreadsheet. I've done that before. You can also do old school, paper pencil on calendars that you print out. But I prefer this, or if I had to do it like manually on hard supplies, I would do one of those giant wall calendars and then use post-it notes that are color coded to move things around as I need to, so I can get an idea of what my calendar is going to look like. But this kind of acts like that, and I can save it and share it with people if I need to. So I really love using Airtable. And there are plenty of other ways to do it too, but this is the one I'm going to show you today. So here we are, and I'm going to build my May 2024 content calendar and just kind of show you how I do it. So I went ahead and typed in a bunch of things over here just to make this video quicker, but I'll show you how I go. So the first thing I put into my content calendar are any like major and federal holidays in the month of May. So I know Mother's Day is the 12th, and oops, I don't know why I did it like that. And Memorial Day is the 27th. Normally they disappear from over here, so I must have a something. There we go. So that it doesn't make copies. So yeah, so this is what it looks like. And if for some reason something needs to change, you can just like drag and drop it like it's a post-it note. Mother's Day doesn't change, so I can leave that one where it is. So the next category of things I put on my calendar are any major election dates. So I live in the state of Alabama, and no one in Alabama has a primary election in May in my area, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I lived in Indiana, they're having their primary election day on the 7th. So if you're in Indiana, you definitely need that one on your calendar. If you're in Maryland, Nebraska, or Georgia, they have their primary on the 14th. So you would want to put it there. And as you can see, you can just drag and drop if you need to move something. You might want to, things to add to this might be the last day to register to vote, which for Maryland is the same day as Election Day. Wish that was true everywhere. It could be last day to pick up or accept your absentee ballot or drop off your absentee ballot, how to drop off your absentee ballot, because different states have different rules. It could be whatever the case might be for your election day. But because I'm in Alabama and we don't have an election this month, I'm just going to delete that from my calendar. My next category of things would be any events happening in my district, either just locally or for my campaign. So I have a JFK dinner that I'm attending on the 2nd. So I can add that one there, and I use the color green because if it has to do with the fundraiser, I don't want to post like fundraiser, like that's boring. So I try to mix it up a little bit. I also know that I'm going to be attending the Madison County Democratic meeting at some point, so I can drag that onto my calendar. And May is also the month of graduation for a whole lot of people. High schools and colleges are graduating around this time. So if you have a district that has more than one high school or college in the area, then you can get away with like one major post. Happy graduation, you worked so hard. And then I would throw in a little like, don't forget to register to vote at your new address, wherever that might be, because people move after they graduate usually. And or maybe they were registered at their parents' address and now they're leaving the nest and need to have it at their current location. So that is this major stuff happening in May in my area off the top of my head right now. And as I find things out, because that happens, I might need to add and move things around. But think of this as paper on pencil, or paper on pencil on paper, or sticky notes on a giant poster board. You can move things as you need to. Ooh, and I just realized I spelled that wrong because I was in a hurry. You spell check. All right, so next would be any other important dates. So May, by the way, if you didn't know, is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. It is also Jewish American Heritage Month. So you could do that on the 1st, or you can move it to another date later. because it is the whole month for. So especially if you have a district that has a high population of Asian Pacific Americans or Jewish Americans, you would definitely want to give a shout out to that community. May is also Community Action Month, which I think is great, especially if you're doing nonprofit work. So go ahead and use that to your advantage to make some posts. So I release a list of important dates for the month about a week before each month. So a couple days ago, I released my list that I think most people need to pay attention to, and I have some of them written down here. You can see my complete exhaustive list on my website. So sabrinahelm.com under my resources for content calendar, and you can go in and pick out the ones that would make sense to your campaign, your area, your issues, whatever those might be that your campaign platform is running on. So one of them was the first Freedom Ride leaves DC, and that happened on May 4th, I believe. Let me double check that before I lie to you. I think so, because I think I remember it being on the same day as Star Wars Day. Yep. So also Star Wars Day is on May the 4th, right? So May the 4th be with you. Haha, what a joke. So both those things happen on the same day. They might not both be important to you. You don't have to do both. I might not do both. I might do the first Freedom Ride as a post, and then Star Wars Day is just like a fun story somewhere in my social media. But it's on the calendar, so I can decide when it comes time. So Cinco de Mayo is obviously May 5th. That's a good post if you just want to show your staff, your volunteers, your candidate enjoying some Mexican culture. Be sensitive about what you're doing. So I would definitely ask a staff member who has Mexican or Hispanic heritage to help you out, because it would be awful to put something down that you don't mean to that comes off wrong. I also know that May 6th is National Nurses Day, and it is also National Space Day. So this one probably doesn't matter to a whole lot of people, but I live in Huntsville, so we have NASA headquarters, and that's a kind of big deal to us. So I will definitely be making a National Space Day post on that day. National Teachers Day is May 7th. Boop. Where'd it go? Did I lose it? I lost it. No, oh, there it is. Okay. Apparently, I don't know how to click on my own laptop today. Stay. Oi. All right. And then another one that I have on here that I thought was pretty interesting, and if your campaign is running on anything reproductive choice whatsoever, then you're going to need to make a post on May 9th. May 9th is the anniversary of when the FDA approved the birth control pill in 1960. And so obviously women's reproductive rights and pregnant people's reproductive rights are under fire right now. So I would definitely make a post about that on this day and be like, the Supreme Court has literally talked about getting rid of birth control. So just so you know. Okay. So those were the major days that I saw in May that stuck out to me. And so the rest of what I'm going to do to fill up my calendar, because you can see this week here is super full, but the rest of my month is kind of empty. So I might move some of these month congratulation month posts to a different spot. Probably not too late in the month, because then that looks insensitive. But you can move things around. You can even do them all on the same day, I guess. Just be up to you how you want to do it. So, but then I also have what we call evergreen posts, which are things that you can talk about anytime, anywhere. So for me, I'm doing things like social media tips, email tips, if I'm going to a DEM event, how to use different tools such as this content calendar, fundraising tips, and then some other things. So for you, this might be LGBTQ rights. It could be drug pricing going down, abortion rights, the economy, whatever it is that it's important to your campaign. So I can go ahead and plan out my posts like this. And with my evergreen post, the date itself doesn't really matter, which is why I can put it down so quickly. I do know that, remember that all these things are really like pencil, right? They're not in pen. So if something happens on the 15th, I live in Alabama, maybe we have severe weather that day. No one cares about my tools tip on that day. So I would want to move that post and instead do like a breaking news, oh my gosh, this horrible thing happened in my area, and make sure that the powers that be are sending the right resources to go help people, or whatever the case might be. Or maybe on the 20th, you had nothing planned that day, but then the Supreme Court releases its opinion on birth control or whatever. So these things, like, they're always kind of in the back of your mind that you have to make room, and sometimes you just have to adjust it on the fly. So the very first day that Ukraine got bombed, back when that started, there was a I can't remember who it was exactly, but I remember it being in the news that I think it was a guy, and he had like a clothing line or an album or something like that was being released that day. And because they used a content calendar, like most people do, they had, the post was supposed to go out on that day, and they had it pre-scheduled to go out at like 8 o'clock or whatever. And we're waking up and finding out Ukraine got bombed, but they didn't know that. And it came out, and something about the post was like, "Let's go," and which obviously had only to do with their product, but it was just super bad timing compared to something else that happened in the world. And the person had to pull the post down and like apologize, and they were like, "We're so sorry, this had nothing to do with that, and it's just really bad timing," and they had to move their stuff around. So it happens. Just be ready for it. So yeah, that's how I do my content calendar. So I'll probably end up doing some more social media tips, because that's what most of my followers want. And maybe I'm going to do another fundraising tip, because who doesn't want more money, right? And just kind of fill up your calendar and give yourself some wiggle room, because you never know when you're going to have to say something. So anyway, that is how I do my content calendar, and I hope it was beneficial to you. So you can like, comment, subscribe, and all those things the YouTube people say. And let me know what you thought. So, all right, happy planning.